All both teams in the last 43 seconds had had their chance. Monroe did not score the basket, did get a free throw and failed. And on a double timeout around 23 seconds, as I recall on the board, Alex not setting up the way Coach Larry Osman wanted them to, rather Coach Marv Rasmussen wanted them to, called a timeout with 9. And then Aaron got the shot from the side. That won it 65-63 with 2 seconds to go.
On? Ready? Okay. Shoot in, everyone, from the Alexandria Auditorium. George. Go back and do it.
We also want to congratulate our wonderful coach, our fans, our cheerleaders, and all of those who have helped us through this year and the years before to finally achieve our goal. And now I will turn the rest of this program over to our coach, Marv Rasmussen.
I thank you, Mayor George Smith. It's quite an honor for me as coach to be here, speaking on behalf of this wonderful basketball team and bringing home this trophy. Not quite all of it, but bringing it home. And to represent Alexandria as the 1963 basketball champions in the B Division of South Dakota. Boys, as we were talking to them here, they said, a lot better facing these people that they know than those Pine Ridge Indians last night. Probably, before we get through here, I'll call each one of these individuals up here and let you hear from these kids. They're the people that represent Alexandria. They're your people, and they're people that I am very proud of. Last night is probably the milestone in my life, and no doubt a milestone in all of these students or these basketball players sitting in front of me. As I came here 4 years ago, we had one goal in mind, and that was to get this State B trophy, and we came home with it, as you know, by the score that's on the scoreboard up there. I think that was a Pine Ridge score from last night. Looking back over the last 4 years, when I came here, I think I've only had about 3 guys graduate since I came to Alexandria off my basketball team, or 4, and there are 3 boys that played almost all the time the first year I was here. Tom Farnsworth, Jim Arndt, and Roger Rand. And Tom Schrader, he wasn't on the first squad the first year, but he started to grow a little, and we figured we better put him in there. And then the first year we were talking about it last night, we had, I think, 11-14 record, and I think one week we beat the JVs out of Mitchell 3 times. This kind of padded this record for us. And the next year, we had a real successful season. I think we were 16-6. We got 3rd place in the district tournament. We got beat out by Plano, I believe, that year. And the next year, which would have been last year, we were fortunate to win the district tournament. The kids, they started coming around, and they started realizing last year that defense was probably the most important part of this basketball game. And as we progressed through this year, they felt that defense is the thing that won this State B basketball tournament for them. last night after the ball game, I always thought it'd be a different feeling. I always thought that if you won a State B basketball tournament, you would be real happy and overjoyed, and I don't think any of the boys really felt that. I think they just had the feeling of relief that we had the basketball tournament over and we had the big trophy sitting in one of our rooms. I don't actually feel that they felt the joy of winning the state basketball tournament until we started home today and we got to Stanley Corner and we saw all those cars greeting us. This is a thing that put kind of a lump in our throats, I believe, and ever since then the boys have been real happy. This, as I said before, this is a goal that we set for ourselves 4 years ago, and I think we're very fortunate in having won this tournament. Last night, as you know, we played Pine Ridge. We knew that when we went out on the basketball floor, we went out there with one purpose, and that was to send about 5,000 people or 7,000 people home unhappy. We knew that the people would be against us. As you know, the Indians are usually a crowd favorite, and we knew we had to fight this problem, although we were fortunate enough at one time to play the Indians here, and we had beaten them, and I think this was quite a psychological advantage. Another thing that I think might have helped us win the ball game last night, we kind of had the feeling that these Indians are kind of superstitious. So after you watch that first ball game, the boys were all lined up to go down and get that was at the south end of the court because the Indians always wanted that south end of the court first, and last night so we had to outrace them. And we got down there and we got that basket, and the Indians came out, and I see them look down and see us and shake their heads, and then they came back to the north end and started shooting. Well, as you know, they won their other two ball games coming from behind using that north end of the basket in the last half, the north end of the court in the last half, and last night we had the north end, so we think that means that some of these Indians are superstitious. This may have helped us. Probably, as I said before, the thing that, there are many assets probably that we have for winning this State B basketball tournament. One, probably a blessing in disguise. Earlier in the year, I know we had many unhappy fans here. We had many unhappy basketball players, but the Howard Tigers came over here and they beat us 66-64. Well, we knew at that time that we were unbeatable and we'd have to change our ways of a few things, probably work harder in practice, work harder on the defense. They came over here and scored 66 points on us, and we scored 64. And we figured we couldn't win many basketball games when the opponent scores 66 points. So we started concentrating on the defense, and ever since that Howard ball game, there's been a complete turning point in our defense. We've held the opponents to around 47 points, I think, ever since that ball game per game of an average. And this is probably one of the things that has made the 1963 Alexandria Beavers State B champions. Probably some of the other assets, teamwork. I think our basketball team this year, we've had more teamwork than any team I have seen in the state of South Dakota. There's no doubt that we have tremendous personnel at Alexandria, but it takes that teamwork to win these basketball games, and I think it was evident in the tournament. I think the team with the most teamwork is the team that won the tournament. This is the thing that makes it enjoyable working with these basketball players because of this teamwork part. Probably another asset, dedication to myself, dedication to the basketball team in many ways. As far as coming out here for practice every night, running these doubles, we do something we call doubles. It's quite a physical strain on the boys. We start back on the back line here. We run to the free throw line, run back, run to the free throw line again, and then we go to the center back, and to the other free throw line back, and to the other end line back and back. And we run these. It takes us about a minute to run them, and we rest for about 2 seconds, and then we run another one. And then if we got a couple guys that are loafing, we might run another one. So they're a dedicated bunch of boys. They take great pride in their basketball team, that they are champions, and this is probably another tremendous asset to our winning this 1963 State B tournament. Another thing, they have this, I don't know exactly how you can explain it, kind of a burning desire to win. They go out there, they play the game hard, although they feel that if they go out and play the best ball they can and they get beat, well, they're not looking around for some excuses like the officials beat them. They know that maybe they didn't work quite hard enough. Maybe they didn't hold this guy down. He only got 35 or something on us. Something like this. They want to win. They want to go out and do the best job they know how, and they want to go out there and do it the fairest way they know how. Other assets, as I said, is cooperation with me as a coach. When out here in the basketball floor, when I blow that whistle, they know that's time to stop shooting around, horsing around, and get down to some serious business. And it took a while. First year I was here, after I blow that whistle, a couple boys, they'd shoot around a little bit, and then we'd have to go to the line and start running those doubles again. So conditioning in this way. Another thing these boys had, they had this confidence. They were confident that they had the best basketball team in the state this year, and they had to set out to prove it, and they did a very effective job. They had confidence that they could win this State B basketball tournament this year. As many of you know, there's a pretty fine line between confidence and cockiness. Well, I think our boys always stayed on that confident line, below that cockiness line, and this is probably the thing that helped us in winning the State B basketball tournament this year. And another thing that helped us, as you know, this year we played one. I think we played 8 district champions and 3 regional champions, plus probably the 2 better teams in the State Catholic League this year. That was before we got to the tournament. And the kids, when they went to the basketball floor, they didn't know if they were going to win or not. They knew if they went out there and gave it the best effort they could, that their chances were real good. And this is another thing that helped these boys win this State B basketball tournament. I think right now I'll want a few of these individuals and have them give you a few comments on the tournament, things that they felt they liked about the tournament, things that they felt helped us win the tournament. We're starting here with Kent. I guess Kent Thomas. Why don't you move in here, Kent?
Well, thank you, Coach. I'm sure I speak for all the players when I say that we have been looking for the State B tourney all year, and that we were real happy to represent Alexandria in this tourney. One person said last night, after the ball game, she'd come up and was congratulating us fellows, and she said, "We're real proud of you." Well, I would like to say today that us fellows are real proud of the team, are real proud of the town of Alexandria for the support that you have given us in this wonderful reception today. As I said last night, we knew all along that we had the best coach in the tourney. We proved that we had the best team, and I believe that we had the best town. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll agree with Kent Thomas too. It's really nice for all you people to come out and support us and cheer us on. I know how the boys feel. We're really glad you've come, and we're sure glad that we won the tournament. And I think next year the boys will have the same chance. And winning. I think Healy both jokes.
Well, really, there's not much left to say. I know that the seniors on the squad have been working for 4 years to get to the state tournament, and it's always been next year. Well, this year we made up our mind that there wasn't any next year, and it had to be this year. So, I don't see how the coach put up with us every night of practice, but somehow he found a way, and we finally made it. And I think most schools think that when they get to the state tournament, it's over, because they just get there. Well, that's what I thought when I was about a junior or sophomore, but now it's to get there and then to win it. It's really a thrill to win the state tournament. I didn't really feel overjoyed last night when the ball game was over, but now when I see all the town people out there and from neighboring towns, it's really thrilling. Thank you.
They said about almost everything, I think. A few comments on the tournament. Down in the locker room before each game, coach had first ball game we went out there and he couldn't even hit the basket hardly. It took him pretty good. They've really been wonderful fans here. I don't know what else to say. We're really happy with you. Thank you.
I don't know much to say either, but I think a lot of boys had quite a bit of fun up there. Especially last night after the ball game, like Coach said, we were quite relieved. And I think probably Tom Schrader had about the most, quite a bit of fun. He kind of likes to, I guess he uses the word, to have fun at the Jim River. We kind of like to wake boys up once in a while with a little bit of water. And I guess that's about it. And this one here? Yeah, either one. Well, this is really wonderful, and it was about right after we won the region. The coach said if we'd win the state tournament here, he'd jump in the shower if we'd win the state tournament. But then it seemed like after we won that state tournament last night, he kind of got lost. I don't know where he went. And I really think this is great. Thank you. Jim? First of all, I'd like to thank all the people from Alec and neighboring towns for all the support they've given us this year. It's been just great. And we really realized how wonderful it was coming home today. And we saw all those cars, and it really gave us a thrill. And a little bit on the tournament side, we went in that district, and we figured we could get through that if we worked hard, but we just couldn't get worked up to it. And finally, we did come through with a good game with Emory. And then we went into the region, and we knew we wanted that one because we didn't want to quit there. We wanted to play about 3 more ball games, and we got through that one, and then we decided we were going to take the state when we got there, and we knew if we got by the first game, that's the first big step in the state tournament, that first game. If we could get by that one, we felt we could take it, and so we did. And I'd like to thank everybody for everything they've done for us this year in more than one way, and thank you very much. As you probably know, I'm just one of the guys in the team. I don't start or anything. And when that first game come along, I figured, well, this is it. I wouldn't play anymore. But when we got that first game, I got ahead, and we kept getting ahead. And once I started wondering, but then we got too far ahead. I thought Coach would probably try to make the record for the state. As you know, it's probably, I think it was 33 points ahead. And I thought probably try and do that, but no, a good coach always lets his man in, and that's something I really appreciate him for, because I got to play too.
microphone. Well, I don't know too much to say because I haven't been on this team very long, but it sure has been fun all through the district and the regional, and we really appreciate the support of all you fans out there.
Thank you. I would like to thank all the fans who stayed with us all year and supported us during this tournament, and all the fans who helped us to get through the tournament and brought us home here today to this grand welcoming. I would like to say a few things about the tournament. I know one thing, I had a lot of fun down there, but teachers and coach, they kept a close eye on us and made us stay in our hotel room. They wouldn't even let us go down and see the cheerleaders. I got kicked out of the room 2 or 3 times. And for this tournament, I think we played 3 of the best teams in the tournament. Pine Ridge is one of the best teams we've ever played against. I think we have the best team in the state. There's no question about it. Thank you.
Opposite of the seniors, this is my first year in basketball this year, and I've got a long way to go to high school, and I think it's about the nice way that it could happen to start it off. Thank you.
First I'll say I wish we would have started down at that end. It would have been a lot easier to think of anything to say because I think the boys have said most of it. But I'd like to commend our neighboring towns, Emory and Bridgewater, for the fine reception they gave us when we passed through their towns. But I don't think that was anything compared to the fine reception that we got from our own hometown fans. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. I've been waiting for 4 years as a student manager to be able to go to a state tournament. I know Alec has never had a first place ball club in a state tournament, and it's a great thrill for me to be student manager on a championship ball club in the state tournament. I've enjoyed very much working for Coach Rasmussen for 4 years, and I think he's probably the best coach that Alec has ever had, and he's the best coach in the state of South Dakota. Thank you.
Well, it's been a privilege for me to be a manager this year, and I'm sure it's something that all of us will never forget. I think the boys during district tournament were sort of in a slump, but as a regional came, they were sort of coming out of it. In the state tournament, they were back on course again. Thank you.
I probably should mention something about Red. Yesterday we were sitting in the hotel, or it was last night after the ball games, and I said, Red, how'd you come out picking your tournament picks? And he says, I got one wrong. I said, you just got one wrong? Yeah, he says, I picked that Irene Monroe game wrong. So he picked all the games in the State B tournament except the Irene Monroe game, and I think that was a one-pointer right. And as you know, Red, he follows his Class B basketball real close, and after we were talking around a little while longer, and someone asked me how I'm going to pick the State A, and I said, well, you better wait a minute, I got to talk to Red. So, I think you people of Alexandria, I know we have many friends out here in the audience, many parents, and so on. I think you people should be all very proud of these individuals sitting down in front of me. During the tournament, I heard many favorable accounts on the boys. I never heard anything bad that was said about our students from Alexandria. Many of the officials after the ball game, they came up to me and they congratulated me for the wonderful way, the sportsmanlike conduct that these individuals showed. In the hotel this morning, as we were checking out, the woman behind the cash register, she thanked me. She congratulated me for having such a wonderful bunch of boys, and I think this is quite a credit to you people of Alexandria. I think there are a few sportscasters in the audience. Craig Stoltz, I think he was down here, a sports writer. I don't see him right now. Craig, is he back here?
Danny Olson and Jim Burt and I are replaying the tournament behind the stage. I would like to say that not only are these boys fine basketball players, as you know, but to us they represent the very best in athletics in all phases, and their sportsmanship and conduct has been beyond reproach. I'm not... predictor that red was, but I did pick Alex to win, and I never was too worried about it. Actually, as you know, Marv is a very good friend of Mel, which is the O'Gorman High team in Sioux Falls, and they're together, frankly, at every B basketball game they can make, or when Northern's playing, as they were teammates up there. And Mel can't take any credit for this one because he lost to an Indian team in the finals of the state Catholic tournament, and he passed on no coaching advice to Marv in that final last night. Thank you.
Danny Olson is back here. I believe he would come out and say a few words for it. There we go.
Well, Craig has pretty well said what we feel. I know the boys are good students as well as the ball players they proved themselves to be. We've had a chance to be with them in the dressing room a few times this season and during the tournaments. Even had a little chance to eat with them last night after the game. Real bunch of gentlemen. And I know what this means to Alexandria. And you folks, I know what it means to eastern South Dakota to have the title come back here. It's been out west, you know. And everyone's proud of you, including Emory, which I believe was the last town to win in Region 6, if I'm not mistaken. So Region 6 is proud, too. And this is 3 out of 4 for extreme eastern South Dakota in the Class B ranks. And that's pretty great as far as we're all concerned. And thanks very much for a chance to associate with a fine group and a real coach. Thank you, Marv.
I believe we have one more sports announcer back here. I think Jim Burke's back here someplace. Come out? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Marv. I think Danny Craig and I have probably done more dribbling, shooting, and rebounding than any individual the last 3 weeks in the entire state. It's a joyous occasion, certainly, for this fine community of Alexandria to have these worthy champions to reign as the Class B South Dakota Kings for 1 year. And we trust that the boys coming back next year perhaps can reiterate, and you'll have the same joyous event next year. It is always a great pleasure to be associated with such fine, wholesome young men as are represented here today. And our association with Marv Rasmussen has been of the highest esteem and of the greatest respect, and you should be all proud of them, and I'm sure you are. Thank you very much.
I believe we have one more person here that deals quite a bit in sports. I believe Marv Hastings is here. I don't see him. Here we go.
Thank you, Marv. These are the champions, ladies and gentlemen. Not only by the score, but having followed Alex so closely this year, I could see the pressure mount from that first game with Pressure, which was played on the Corn Palace floor, until the one last night. And fellas, if you can cope with the pressures of life like you have coped this year, you're going to make it, and you're going to be champions in life as well as state B champions. It's really been great working with you.
I don't know exactly what else they had planned. I think we're just going to talk to the boys and George, want to come back up and give us some more plans or whatever.
We'll have a banquet for these boys. And once again, I want to add a little to what Shorty Greer says. I want to thank Bridgewater and Emory and also our own fans very much for making this the most wonderful day that we've ever seen.